Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our social wrap-ups. As usual, I'm joined by my friend Hassan, and this time also joined by my friend Matej.
Hello.
Since we have a European show this time, I thought that I would bring in a local guy alongside who's from Czech Republic. Let's start right away. Outside of the top five, we had who I thought was a surprise in sixth place. Since it's a Spanish show, I thought he was a guaranteed top five. We had Pablo Lopez. He was in sixth, and probably one of the most popular guys up there, Cuba. So what do you guys think about those two guys? Let's start with Hassan.
Pablo, I thought looked pretty much the same as he's always. It's not lean enough. He needs to diet like another 10 pounds. It's usually shredded up top. Nice delts, crazy abs, probably the best abs. The back is small and the quads are smooth. He needs way more detail. So I think him is just the condition thing. Once he's got the condition, he's got everything else. He should have easily been in the top five, considering he's from there and he's got all the tools.
Yeah, exactly. And what about Cuba?
Honestly, I just think he's too small. I mean, he's good condition. I know he's a popular guy in terms of coaching, but he just doesn't have the round muscles, to be an open guy. You gotta be like bubbly. It's not just about being there. He still looks like a heavyweight NPC guy.
In my opinion, honestly, it's pretty much what Hassan said. With Kuba, it's a case of yes, he's popular. Yes, he has a lot of traction in the bodybuilding world, but unfortunately, they just couldn't carry him. He's missing that size, roundness, and the X factor. So until he can put on more size, and I know he's been trying for several years to do that, I don't see him placing much higher than he did now in Alicante.
Yeah, what about Pablo in sixth? I mean, since he's a local guy.
Yeah, I also expected him to place a little higher, but again, it was mostly conditioning, and I don't think that they could get away with placing him higher than sixth. So I think it was a fair decision on the judges' part, and if he can get the conditioning down in the future, which I hope he will, I think he can place higher for sure.
Yeah, as far as I go, just like you guys said with Cuba in 10, like you said, the biggest problem is the size. Like right from the get-go, like this guy, like he's 5'9", that's his height, and I think he's between 230 and 240, maybe a little bit higher.
There's no way. I don't even think he's that.
Yeah,
Just I was like, put it me. I was 5'9", and when I turned pro, I was 224, and I look way big.
Yeah, but you have completely different structure and then bones and shape. So that's not.
But still,
yeah.
Like 240, like look at Sasson. Sasson was probably 225, 230
max,
and he looks bigger, right? Because he's got the roundness.
I think if he had a better back,
yes,
I think he would have been top 6 just with a better back. But I don't think that's gonna. It's ever. Unfortunately, that's ever gonna like. He's like I think he's 30 or 31 now. He's been bodybuilding since he was 16. If it didn't happen by now, I mean, of course he's gonna keep trying. Like he's not gonna give up. But until he's like 250 with that type of shape and condition, I don't think he's in contention for the top spots this show. As far as Pablo goes, you guys nailed it. I think his conditioning was fine for this level. I mean, it wasn't like we're not talking the army, so I don't think the conditioning was that much of a problem. But I think just like with Kuba, he's still missing like 10 to 15 pounds of muscle at least. And then he doesn't have the greatest shape. Then you add the conditioning, then he gets beaten by these what are essentially 3 top Olympians. And
So
these
when I mean condition, I don't mean just getting ripped, right? The difference between the upper and bottom is huge. That's the problem. The legs are it looks like 8 weeks out legs and like shredded top. It just doesn't doesn't go. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Especially the quads, there's no separation. So to me, I think he needs to get that detail in the legs, and it might be because he gained a lot of weight in that legs. So it's probably just needs time to get that crisp condition.
Agreed. Yeah. And then in fifth with the top five, we had a surprise. I mean, this guy, to me, and I follow bodybuilding pretty closely, came out of nowhere. His name is Anthony Gel. He's from France. I think he turned pro recently, if I'm not mistaken. Recently, yeah. So like right into the it's very rare these days that you have a fresh pro that can walk into a show and place top five. It doesn't really happen. So this is pretty huge, you know. And,
he's big, that's why.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like he has the size, which Pablo.
He has the mass monster factor where it's not just the size, but the weight's packed on top of him. Kind of in the structure, it reminds me a little bit of like a Nick Walker, where you can just see it's muscle on top of muscle on top of muscle. It's very impressive to the eye at first sight.
And good condition. Yeah, very.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was definitely in shape, and he was pretty complete. He was big. The only problem is that he's a little bit like his waist is a little bit wide from the front. Like he's still missing size and muscle. Like to be
offset that.
Yeah, to be like in the top 3 range. But I think he has the potential.
Yeah, but it's a wide waist from the front, but you can see that he has a lot of control over his abdomen overall because he hit all the poses in a vacuum and it was very impressive. So I don't think, unfortunately, unless he can get his upper lats a lot wider, which given his size, I don't think might be possible very quickly, there's not much he can do about the width of the waist, but the control and everything is there. So to me, it wasn't like a big factor that I would say, okay, it's his waist that's the issue.
And remember, guys, there was another show. The top 4 guys were top guys that can win any show. So this guy can win small shows.
This guy can win a show, yeah. He just has to pick the right one. But the problem is now that the point system is gone. We said that Christian Volsky might win, and this guy could win. Just a lot of guys. And now you have in this lineup alone, you have 3 guys that can win any show they enter on a different day that didn't win. So it's still like, which show is this guy gonna pick? So that's
all shows are stacked. Like Cali was packed, Toronto was crazy. New York was just nuts. So it's
the show was insane. Like second call out, everybody was feeling. When does that happen? So
yeah, we haven't seen this level of competition and these deep lineups in a couple of years, I would say, for sure.
I would say 15.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, actually, it's been a long time, which is good because people were talking shit about open bodybuilding bad day. But you watch the next show, it's going to be packed. Dubai Pro is going to be packed. They're all going to be packed. Texas, it's going to be crazy.
The problem is, bodybuilding fell off for a while. Like you had shows like where you had like 3, 4, 5 guys. Now it's finally
Vancouver.
Yeah, I think now with social media, because everybody is doing like road to Empro, road to Toronto Pro. Everybody has to create content. So people are competing because of that. And, so it is what it is. But, I think going back to this guy, to Anthony, I think that this is a huge win in sale for him. And I can't wait to see what he can do next. I hope this is not like the peak of his abilities. I hope he can continue progressing.
Yeah,
many times we've seen from European guys, they get to a point and then, they stop. They can continue. Then in 4th place, we've got our good friend, at least mine, I've known us since like 2015 or 16, almost 10 years now. In 4th place, Hassan and Matej. I think this was the comeback by far, the comeback of the year, if not the decade.
The decade,
Because,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, because the previous comebacks, let's not talk about them. So this was pretty amazing, and I was pestering this guy to get back on stage as soon as possible. He made two
All of
kids.
us, right?
He made two kids. He enjoyed life for a bit, and now he's back with a vengeance. And fourth place. I think it's pretty crazy. It was but it was like fourth, and between fourth and fifth was like a huge gap, and then it was like 4-3-2-1. So I think he was really up there. I think he looked really good. Conditioning was the best it ever was.
Fantastic.
I thought honestly from his progress pictures that his triceps are going to be a problem, but it wasn't. And he really looked like stacked up there. And yeah, he's still missing a little bit of size, but for testing the waters, and if he continues to progress, this is an amazing showing for him.
Absolutely. I would say his showing, probably the best quads on stage that day. He had deep separation and fantastic feathering throughout the whole quad. Everything was just the way it's supposed to be. And like my overall impression, he really hit the nail on the head. The condition was tremendous. He looked fantastic. I was super happy to see that. Great showing from Sas, absolutely.
No, I agree. And the main thing is, like you said, we were all bugging him because he never stopped working out, right? He was always posting crazy pictures. I'm like, oh, man, this guy looks so crazy. Why is he doing a show for years, right? And finally he does it. Peaks like crazy. 3 weeks out, he's shredded to death. And then at the same time, the striated delts, full quality. You see all the separation. Not like a lot of guys that, God knows what they got in their arms. But this guy has like quality muscle. In my opinion, I honestly thought he could be third because I was not impressed with your friend Fruto. He was not. I would put. I was thinking, maybe Sats could be third. The triceps. Actually, yeah. I think one of the things that holds him back is he doesn't pose openly. Like it's always kind of like even the side chest kind of like scrunched in. I think he can make himself look a lot bigger, especially on the back poses if he opens the right way. But
yeah, and the front double as well.
And finally, yeah, because he's like this, right?
Yeah.
When so that's probably easy to fix if you get it the right. I'm sure he knows. I'm sure people have said it forever, but I think and also noticed his left bicep and the front double was like smaller. It looked like it was injured before. But I can't remember if he ever hurt his bicep. Maybe he did in the past. But on the side chest,
maybe
on the side chest.
Yeah, maybe it's just time. He's not 25 anymore, so maybe that's it. Yeah.
So yeah,
overall super impressive. Yeah.
Super impressive, and I hope he keeps going. I hope he doesn't stop again. So because he has the potential to do something special. And then in third place, the guy who at first I was a little bit bamboozled with his size, Michal Križanek was third. At first when I saw pictures, like this guy wins, because he is the biggest guy, the tallest, the widest. But when I started picking them apart, I was like, scratch that. This guy is as low as third, if not fourth. So. I don't know what happened to him. I think that, again, his color wasn't amazing. It was better, but not great. His posing still needs work.
Stomach control.
On top of that, the conditioning wasn't. He made no improvements, and then the conditioning wasn't amazing. So I think that's why they tipped it down to third.
Yeah. I think that this comparison might be a little out there, but I really think that there's a little parallel between him and Big Ramy because they are both trying to play the size game. They are both struggling to get the color right for quite some time, as well as the condition. And despite their huge frame, they are just not showing up the way that they should show up. So my personal opinion, and obviously this is not objective, but my personal opinion is that Michal tried to play the size game, tried to come as big as possible to the show, hoping that this would carry him through, because comparing to, let's say, William, you know that he is able to get into tremendous shape. He knows exactly how to hit a show properly. He's an ex-Olympian of many, many years. So I think he was trying to outsize them a little bit. And unfortunately, it didn't really work out. His condition wasn't great. And personally, I don't think it's just condition. When you look at some of the pictures, for example, the front lat spread, you can see that where he places his hands on his abdomen, it's not just like water weight. It seems like he wasn't really in shape completely, and the same can be said in the glutes and the hamstrings. So personally, I think he needed another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He was not any better than before in terms of like first impressions, like not a lot bigger. Maybe he was a few pounds bigger, but he didn't notice it. The biggest problem is, okay, tank top, this guy's Mr. Olympia. It's crazy. Dennis James type of guy, right? Best arms. Like, if you said, whose arms do you want? Everybody would say this. Quads, beautiful, everything. But the problem is, when he poses, he's got long torso that just goes straight down with no lat. And so, like you said, with the extra little fat on the kind of like love handle.
Yeah.
That can't happen. You gotta be peeled, right? Or you gotta hide it by putting your hands a little closer. You know? So I thought his front shots were not great, and then the stomach control, like you would see him kind of breathing. So I think honestly it should have been fourth in my opinion. I would have had Hassan and Matej. But it's, I mean, what a few points who cares, right? It was 9 and 12, I think. So
Yeah.
3 points.
Then in the battle for first, because it wasn't battle, I think they had like a final call out at the end where they had BONAC and BEHROOZ together. We had a fight till the end, and BONAC came on top with the judges. And from what I heard in person, BONAC looked like insanely built, like crazy detail, big inspiration and stuff. But I don't think that should be. He looked to me like a NABA winner. You know those NABA universe winners, like really built,
Weird shape.
Yeah, weird shape. It's just definitely not the BONAC of old. And this new version, obviously, if he comes in fuller, he's gonna lose all the qualities that he displayed at this show. But then, you know, if he comes in shredded like this, he just looks small compared to these big guys, especially like in shots like most muscular. Yeah, it was crazy. Like he can't pull off an ab and thigh anymore at all. Things like that where he had a problem, you know. So I don't know. I personally had BEHROOZ winning. Because he had everything except quads.
Yeah. I'll give my take on one thing that I think is what decided it. BONAC is a guy, if you're there in front of him and the judges, he's just so hard and dense, right? So as much as conditioned the other guy is, they just look so much different in terms of the quality of the muscle. Now, I would argue that's not enough, like you said, because he's just got worse shape. Like his most muscular, there's no more delts. The arms are not aligned as before, right? There's a disconnect in how they look. The stomach, even though it's dry, it's not great. He just, to me, won the back poses because the hands and glutes were so big and thick and deep, right? So I think they really went with the density of one guy, right, versus the overall package. So but it was 1 point, right? 1 point difference. So maybe one judge here or one judge there. I personally thought BEHROOZ was a more complete guy. The only knock on BEHROOZ I have is when he does that bending the knee thing before the pose, which drives me crazy. The little half squat thingy, I don't know what to call it. This little thing he does, like this. But the quad sweep, I think, needs to be worked on. If he can get more sweepy quads, I think he has everything. It's really nothing to do.
Yeah, BEHROOZ's shape is incredibly pleasing to the eye, and he just has this flow to the physique from the wide shoulders to the narrow waist. Yeah. And I'm reminded of Nasser Al-Sonbari a little bit in his physique because he has tremendous round shoulders, he has the tight waist. He just really looks Nasser-like. But the thing that I just quite don't understand is, so we kind of agree that probably what won William the show was the condition over the shape, right? But then you are looking at third and fourth, and you see Sasan behind Prijo. So if the shape, sorry, not if the shape, but if the condition was the deciding factor, then it should have been William, BEHROOZ, Sasan, and then Prijo. Or if it was the shape, then it was supposed to be BEHROOZ, William, Prijo, and Sasan. So it's kind of like a back and forth, but really it was a tight show, and in my opinion as well, probably BEHROOZ should have taken it.
But that logic makes sense, but I don't think judging happens like that, right? Because they look at each guy separate. So like, I always used to see that too. Like, why aren't they consistent? If they're going with the big, then stick with the big, right? If they're going with shape, then go with shape. But I think BEHROOZ, if you had another panel of judges, could have been either way. So
Absolutely.
it's no bad thing for him. I think that the bigger point is, okay, what does that BONAC, what can he do at the Olympia? And honestly, I don't think much. So it's like an 8 to 10 guy, right? Maybe even. You got Hunter, you got Andrew. But BEHROOZ, I'm saying, if both of them go to Olympia, I have BEHROOZ doing better at the Olympia. I just don't think BONAC he's so much different than what he used to look. So all those weaknesses are further showing, right? In terms of structure, because he's a lot smaller, right? Besides those tall guys. So the most muscular, the fundamentalized, and all those are showing weaknesses. As before, he used to get away with things. I don't think he could do much better in how many weeks is it? 16 weeks? I don't think much can change.
Okay, yeah. So with BEHROOZ and BEHROOZ and BONAC at the Olympia, BEHROOZ is not qualified yet. He's doing the show next week in Italy against Nathan Diasha. I know Wolf is also doing it. So those are the three guys that I know so far. I don't know if anybody else is going to jump in, but they're all the obvious contenders to win. Like you said, I don't know, like he can be in the 8 to 10, which I think is fine for a debut at the Olympia. I think that's pretty good, So in terms of BEHROOZ, can he place higher than 8? Probably not. If if the lineup is stacked as it can be,
and that's the only reason why.
Yeah,
stacked.
But BONAC, I think, can't even be top 10 with the way he looks. So that's the bigger problem, because I think he's gonna, especially at the Olympia, it's a big man show. They always it's a big stage, and if you're like peeled and kind of small, you get lost in the mix. So I think he's gonna look at that 12 to 15 area. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I think it makes sense. You'd think top 10, but then when you start counting all the names, you're like, shit, this ain't like those old, it's been a couple of Olympiads where COVID or whatever, no one showed up, but this is a hard Olympia.
Yep. So, yeah. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, first off the top of your head, you would probably see William being quite high, because you remember him, placing, top 5, top 6 for quite a couple of years. But like Hassan is saying, now it's so stacked that really, where is he going to fit into that top 10? And I don't think the answer is nowhere. So probably outside of the top 10, most likely, really.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, in terms of this show, again, I believe that, like you guys kind of said, and I agree, I think that BEHROOZ had the show. Like you said, he had a couple of problems with the posing again, working, stuff that he does, and the missing quads and things like that. But overall, I think he was just a better bodybuilder on the day. What can he do against Nathan, though? I think he already beat him last year in Romania, and I think he can beat him again. I don't know what you guys think.
It's a much better Nathan, right? But I still think he can beat him.
Yeah.
It's a much better Nathan, but this is also a very hard BEHROOZ to beat. So I think he poses a lot better. He's actually a very good poser. Besides the thing I hate that he does, but once he's in the poses, if he holds it longer, that's his only problem. I think he can easily win that show, but knowing that he can't get to the U.S. probably, does that factor in? Actually, both of them, right? I don't know what's going on with both of them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's this. I just thought of that. So yeah, you're
I don't
right.
know. Like, I don't know all the backstory or details, but yeah, but I think they're both very good, and it's gonna be very hard. I think that's gonna be your one and two. I like both as
But
bodybuilders.
that's why
I like their looks.
that's why I think Janek should do the show
Yeah,
because if he does the show,
Yeah,
he can go to the Olympics.
he has
Mhm.
he has been to the U.S. many times, so yeah, probably he is the one out of those three. He is the one to go to the States. That's probably the best chance he has at placing above those guys. To be honest.
But does he have time? Like, we're talking Rizzo or we're talking
Rizzo,
Crizo, yeah.
Rizzo? Yeah, but how much better can he get? He's right. That's the
these guys get in
condition
shape
on.
like a week, man. Come on, like these big guys, like they can he
Yeah,
can drop like he can drop carbs for 5 days if he's gonna lose
yeah,
10 pounds. Like what are we talking?
But hey, but this is the thing. Like, I don't want to count BONAC out because I counted him out for this show and he proved us all wrong, right? So if you look, I had him at second, and then I saw that video. So he was talking in his wrap up that he wasn't looking as good leading up, and then they fixed it. But then I'm like, oh, he's gonna be fourth, and then he wins. And that was a short prep, like with working with what's his name, Boston. So maybe another 16 weeks, maybe BONAC gains another. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's possible. But these guys are from Ghana, right? So they
Yeah,
don't.
but
The rule.
the thing you have to factor in really is BEHROOZ. He is still in that range where he can make improvements pretty quick.
Yes.
He's still essentially a young guy, and he hasn't been doing this for decades. Whereas William, I don't think that he can really make improvements at this stage. Not massive ones for sure. He can improve this and that, but he really cannot change his physique that much, to be honest.
Yeah, BEHROOZ is like he won these world amateurs. He was, I think, 22, right? And then he was in the army to compete for how many years? So he's probably still like 30, not even.
Yeah, he's 30.
So he's 30. So like young guy. So if you use that trajectory with like a Hattie, this guy can be better than Hattie. This to me he has better overall pieces than Hattie, right?
Yeah, and William's 42 now, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right,
we'll
guys.
see.
With that being said, let's wrap it up. And the next show, like we said, is the show in Italy. Hopefully, someone can get back together and comment on that show. Until then, peace out.
Let's talk to this.
thank you. Take care.